Maybe because of the circumstances that surrounded the founding of crypto, we've always been in a perceived struggle with giants. All this time, the conclusion has been that those giants were the same financial and banking ones that spurred Satoshi's release of Bitcoin. But here we are in 2022, and it's looking like we may have been wrong all along. Central banks around the world are dipping their toes into their own bizarre, contorted, and tortured version of crypto. And all the big financial players, the ones from traditional finance, are either in crypto or about to be in crypto in one way or another. It now seems like the giants' intent on oppressing crypto might end up being the ones we know from tech instead. Ready? Let's go. Today, we are going to discuss Apple's new policy on NFTs, a new revelation about Twitter that could be instructive as to Elon's purchase, MuesliSwap completing its V2 transition, Liqwid revealing valuable work with a new partner, and Pavia with something new. If your only reaction upon seeing this image is, bruh, I was born in 2003, I don't even know what those giant plastic things are. Okay. It's a metaphor because the tech platforms are like, never mind. Or if you're finding value in these videos each weekday, please consider delegating to the Army of Spies stake pool, ticker AOS. Well, it seems like we've finally reached that point in this tech drama thriller movie we all seem to be living, where the gigantic tech companies realize that crypto might start cutting into their profits. Here we have a post about Apple. Apple updated their App Store review guideline to prohibit NFT as a means to bypass Apple's in-app purchase mechanism. That's actually a pretty non-pejorative way to put it. Apps may allow users to view their own NFTs, provided that NFT ownership does not unlock features or functionality within the app. It sounds like Apple is just sort of protecting their revenue streams when you say, we're prohibiting NFT as a means to bypass in-app purchase mechanisms. But when you look at what they actually wrote down here in this new added section, apps may use in-app purchase to sell and sell services related to non-fungible tokens. Sounds good so far. You can sell NFTs and sell services related to NFTs. That's all great, such as minting, listing, and transferring. Okay. Apps may allow users to view their own NFTs. Okay. Also good, provided that NFT ownership does not unlock features or functionality within the app. They go on, apps may allow users to browse NFT collections owned by others, provided that the apps may not include buttons, external links, or other calls to action that direct customers to purchasing mechanisms other than in-app purchase. It's pretty obvious why Apple is doing this. It's not that they're trying to make some policy decision for the good of their users because they don't think that NFTs are a good use of resources or anything like that. They don't seem to care at all about NFTs. They tell you right here, apps may use in-app purchase to sell and sell services related to NFTs. They're totally good with apps selling NFTs. They just want their cut. That's all they care about. Are we not getting our cut? Are you making money and we're not making money? Because that's not cool with us. We're Apple. When you make money, we always make money. We always get our cut. That's how Apple is. So Apple doesn't want this app figuring out any way to make money on NFTs unless Apple gets their cut. Here's how serious they are about this. They're totally okay if the app allows users to look at NFTs. It seems like even if they bought those NFTs somewhere else, they're okay with that. They know there are NFTs out there. Apple users have NFTs, a lot of them, and they're okay if an app allows those users to look at that NFT, but not if the NFT does anything for the app. If you allow the users to look at an NFT, then that NFT better not do anything in the app. That NFT is not allowed to unlock features or functionality within the app. This completely blows a huge a huge number of use cases for NFT utility, at least as far as any app in the Apple App Store. I mean, what good is an NFT related app if the NFT doesn't do anything inside the app? And of course, the only reason they're doing this is they don't want the they don't want the app makers to go out to their community and say, "Hey, go ahead and buy these NFTs through our totally separate mint. And if you own this NFT, then all of a sudden the app becomes 100 times more cool and you can do all these additional things in the app that you can't do unless you buy the NFT." Apple just doesn't want that separate mint going on. They want the entire NFT world to make NFT minting an in-app purchase inside the apps in the App Store. That's really what they want. They don't want for crypto to exist basically outside of that App Store. They're doing what they always do. They want to make sure that because they make that chunk of plastic that everybody's got in their pocket, they want to make sure that they're making all the money related to that chunk of plastic. So, how much is Apple's cut? Well, it looks like if you're making any money at all in the App Store, Apple's cut is 30%. Here's what Elon Musk had to say about that earlier this year. Apple's store is like having a 30% tax on the internet. Definitely not okay. Literally 10 times higher than it should be. I agree. We probably wouldn't care if it was a 3% tax, but 30% is too much. That's way too big a drag, especially on crypto sub ecosystems or even larger crypto ecosystems. 30% is way too much for any middleman to be taking just because they own that chunk of plastic that you're using to access the internet. You might argue that it also contains metal and glass. Fine, a big chunk of plastic, metal, and glass. But the important question still remains. What are we going to do about this? We can't remain slaves to Apple forever. These kinds of sort of middleman surcharges are what revolutions are made of, at least here in North America. Okay, at least that's what we hung the revolution on. That was the excuse for the revolution. But in this case, I think this could actually be the full reason for a revolution. And what I think we have to do is just sort of turn away from Apple as a place to house our crypto dApps. 30% is too much. That's way too much for any small NFT ecosystem to handle. They can't handle that kind of, overriding tax on their whole ecosystem. It's even probably too much for bigger crypto ecosystems. It's just too much. The weight of that would crush the economics of the ecosystem. Unfortunately, I think we'll have to push people to other mobile platforms or to browser-based apps. I know that's not everybody's first choice, but if we're going to have to suffer a 30% tax, that may be all that's left for us. You might also argue, hey, I hate NFTs. I only care about fungible tokens like ADA. Well, guess what? Apple can change these policies whenever they want to. They could easily extend this exact thing to fungible tokens at any moment. If they decide they're missing out on too much money because of the sale of fungible tokens, they could easily include all crypto assets in a policy exactly like this one. So this doesn't just affect the NFT sectors of crypto. This probably ends up affecting all of crypto because Apple won't stop. If they think they're missing out on money, they're going to go after their cut. For Cardano's part, all I can say is that Charles may have been onto something when he partnered with Boost Mobile, a mobile carrier, instead of just waiting around for Apple to do stuff like this. I've said it many times before, and I'll say it again. I think Caitlin Long probably knows more about the confluence of crypto and banking than anybody in crypto. Although I will say, I think the days, it's obviously been days, of laser eyes has already come and gone. So she might need to kill the laser eyes. But she might not be wrong about this, though. She says, again, Elon Musk's Twitter acquisition was always mostly about payments. And she is referencing this tweet here that says Twitter is working on a wallet prototype that supports crypto deposit and withdrawal. The idea that Twitter is working on a wallet that supports crypto really probably doesn't surprise anyone. After all, the Cash App, which is obviously a wallet that supports crypto, and Twitter share a founder in Jack Dorsey, although he's now left Twitter. What is interesting about this is what it might mean in the context of Elon Musk's on again, off again acquisition of Twitter. So, what we know about Elon and crypto are that Elon loves Doge and he also seems to be in favor of Bitcoin. And that's kind of it. We know he loves Doge. And at one point, he was accepting Bitcoin for Teslas. And I believe he said Tesla had a bunch of Bitcoin. So we know he likes those two cryptos. What I'm a little bit afraid of, and I love Elon Musk. I love Elon Musk. But what I'm a little bit afraid of here is that he supports this Twitter development of a crypto supporting wallet, only he mainly focuses on Doge and Bitcoin. And he tries to turn Doge into the global currency of Twitter with, sort of like add-on support for Bitcoin. I could see that happening. I mean, this guy has a lot of exposure. He could have pushed, crypto in general. He could have pushed, the, top 10 cryptos, the largest market cap cryptos. No, he pushed Doge above all, and he's also supported Bitcoin a little bit. I don't know that we've seen any evidence that he wouldn't do the same once he takes over Twitter. And he's got this little project that Twitter's been working on where they might have a crypto wallet. In fact, this might be a much larger percentage of his desire to acquire Twitter than anybody knows. It seems like Elon is all about vertical integration. And if he wants to sell people cars and things like that for crypto, he needs those people to have a crypto wallet. So I wouldn't be surprised if his desire to grab Twitter has a lot more to do with the fact that everybody's already on Twitter, and it would be really easy to integrate a crypto wallet. Back to news in Cardano proper. MuesliSwap says yield farming is live. We have just enabled yield farming on MuesliSwap V2. This concludes the final piece in our update to MuesliSwap V2. Be ready for even more updates soon. One thing I'll say about MuesliSwap, they do not overhype anything. They they let us know, at least they let us know that they were moving to this new website with this true combination of an order book and an AMM with liquidity pools and yield farming, but they don't overhype anything. Their projects are like the ultimate dark horse projects. They kind of just come out of the blue and you don't have many details, and then they're just there. They're just there totally running, which is great. I'm glad to see a Cardano DEX move to an innovative new structure. This combination, when MuesliSwap first launched as an order book DEX, it was very cool because obviously the EUTXO architecture lends itself to an order book, whereas in the account balance world, that's pretty difficult to do, much easier to do an AMM. In fact, that's why automated market maker DEXs were invented in the first place, because it was a better fit for the account balance structure. But in Cardano, we've had MuesliSwap introduce this EUTXO order book architecture, and now this hybrid architecture with the order book as well as the AMM features that people seem to enjoy very much, including liquidity provision and yield farming. Speaking of Cardano DeFi launches, Liqwid says, hey, Cardano community, we've been working with some of the talented Platonic Systems Haskell developers for the past 6+ months, and it has greatly accelerated our V1 launch timeline. Shout out to this rockstar engineering shop. Builders build. I love this sort of theme we see a little bit in Cardano, where projects are not married to a single development shop. They seem to be able to go back and forth and use the various Haskell development shops, and there doesn't seem to be much of a problem. Who knows? Maybe I just don't know about it. And behind the scenes, there's cutthroat competition or something like that. But it looks like projects have been able to sort of freely go back and forth between Haskell shops. And obviously, there are only so many Haskell development firms that these projects can employ. And it's probably just more a function of the fact that Haskell developers are in such limited supply that they have to kind of take Haskell developers from wherever they can find them. But it looks like this was a good experience in the case of Liqwid. And as always, I think a lot of people are anxiously awaiting the launch of this platform. Finally, on the topic of anxiously awaited projects, it looks like we have an update to the Pavia map. Look at this thing. There are now, like almost individual trees we can see around some of the lakes and ponds. There's some more detail in the waters. I'm still very curious about this section here that is deep sea as opposed to just normal sea. And we've got some new features. So outside of the parcels that people can purchase now, we see that some of these rocky areas have some interesting features. Like up here, I assumed this just went to another sea, but actually this area right here just kind of connects to a rocky area with kind of a mountainous lake type thing. Same over here. I'm really curious to see what Pavia does with all these things once they actually launch. Hope you're having a great week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.